It's moved again. We have
I have
Liz where she does not want to be. There's weird things going on with this program today.
Oh no,
But
it's haunted.
yeah, it probably is haunted. But anyway, before we get into real haunted stuff on the 8th of December, I can't believe it's December already, 2025. This is our second podcast today. And I'd like to welcome Marcia. Marcia, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. It's holiday time, and I'm always ready to chat live. So,
Well, that is good. And Liz, how are you doing? And then you go ahead and introduce our wonderful guests for today.
Oh, I'm doing great, and like I was saying earlier, just waiting to see if we have any tsunamis hitting the coast because there was a fairly large earthquake about 35 miles underground this morning, so and out in the LA area. So just kind of waiting on that. But I don't care about any of that. You know, my walls could crumble, whatever. I want to introduce to you somebody who I have been a fan of for over 20 years, and I'm probably going to really deep dive into some questions. The
Wow.
amazingly talented Erik Fellows. Erik, how are you?
How are you? How's everyone today? Thank you for having me. Thank you, Liz, for being. You said 20 years. That made me smile.
Well,
So
20
that
years,
was very
over
nice to
20
hear
years.
that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Um, I know that, and we kind of just discussed it briefly, that you and Michael are kind of from Maryland and other things. But I know that you come basically through high school. You know, you played basketball, and you were even being recruited, I believe, for second division in Italy at one point until you got injured. What
Yeah.
exactly? I mean, acting was not on your radar. Acting, modeling, the whole bit was not on your radar at all. What decided after that you weren't going to do this? Made you get into the entertainment and between the modeling and the acting? What started that all?
Um. Obviously, I've been asked this question a lot over the years. Ultimately, yeah, no, I was pursuing a career in basketball. That's what my dream was as a child, and I lived and breathed basketball my entire childhood into high school, and I got injured, and that's something I guess kind of diverted me to try to find something else that I was passionate about. I mean, I could have still went and played. I think there was a lot of factors that went into it. I was still young. I was only 17 at the time. Which sucks. I mean, I look back now because I always wish I kind of would have done it, at least taken that, couple of year option to go do something like that, something that could always, carry with me forever. So I did, they say not to regret, but that's something that I wish I would have done. But what kind of got me into the entertainment industry, it was kind of random. Basically, I was at a friend's place and they were babysitting this little kid who happened to be a little, from what I remember, did like Tommy Hilfiger modeling. He was only probably like 4 or 5 years old. I think the mom came to pick him up. It's been a long time since then, so I don't know the exact exchange of words. I just remember her saying to me, "Did you ever think about doing modeling?" And I was like, how I grew up was very different. In Maryland, it's sports, and my group of friends, male modeling wasn't like something that we ever like thought about or discussed. So it wasn't like, oh, I'm going to be a male model when I grow up or an actor. I don't think I could really say it to my friends. They probably would make fun of me and punch me. So she said, you should think about getting into modeling. I'm like, model what? And she was like, no, like commercials and modeling, like for, male modeling. I was only 18. And I said, oh, I don't know. That's not something. And back then I was like, I know Michael Jordan tattoo on my arm. I literally got that when I was a kid at 14 years old. So my brain was definitely not into go be a male model or do commercials or TV acting ever. It wasn't like I thought about. I loved movies. I knew a lot about movies, actually. There was something I was always interested in, but not thinking that I was ever going to move to Hollywood to become an actor. That was never in my. We don't think about that kind of stuff being from small towns like that. Not something you. I mean, some people do. They grew up, in theater and doing plays and stuff like that as kids. It wasn't something I ever thought about. So she hooked me up with her son's agent who did adults. They were called the Artist Agency, and this was in Georgetown, D.C. I remember they signed me at that particular time. I had went to another agency first off before that. I had like 2 agencies kind of when I can remember in Baltimore called Nova Models. And that was, I just remember that right now, actually. That was kind of my first stop with kind of sending pictures in. When she had told me about this, we looked at other agencies possibly And Nova was another one that represented me. But THE was the name of the agency that pretty much took me on, and I started doing local print stuff and I guess little ads like that. And then from that point forward, I went to a Ford Model Search runway show thing, and I met my now dear friend for many, many years. Her name's Allie Warren. And we became buddies, and she had already been modeling. She was a few years younger than me, but she had already started modeling younger, and then kind of traveled to Germany and places like that to model. And I'm only 5'10.5", so like being a big successful supermodel for a guy at that, especially those times, very different. Those guys are 6'2", 6'3". So I'm like, what am I really gonna do with this? It can only go so far. But we went to New York to try it out, and that's kind of how it started. And I moved to New York to pursue modeling, and I was already kind of demonstrating some of my curiosity into acting. People thought that I had a personality and said, you should do TV commercials and stuff. We think you'd be even a better actor. Going that route, there's more longevity to it. It's kind of what kind of initiated it. But it wasn't something I was taking serious for the rest of my life. I didn't think 26 years later I'd still be talking to you guys about this.
That's just because you have developed so much talent within it and layered yourself as far as the characters and the roles you take, that everything it seems like you're doing is new and fresh, which is why we're still talking to you. Well, you're totally out there with that.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
I actually have someone who wanted to ask a question.
Okay.
And you have to excuse me, my voice is going. They didn't want to say their name. They want you to figure it out.
Okay.
And it's supposed to be to ask you of what happened during a certain vertical you were doing in a hotel room. If you remember.
In a hotel room?
In a hotel room. And it was a superhero type vertical.
Okay, hold on. Let me think. A superhero fight.
Actually, it wasn't. Excuse me. It was not a vertical. It was a commercial. I went to verticals because that's what we're talking about. This was a commercial.
In a hotel room.
Mm-hmm.
Superhero. I'm looking at my wife right now. Oh, you mean? Oh, Palm Wonder? No, that's not superhero though.
I'm just going by what he said.
No. It happened in a hotel room?
It was a certain hotel, and it was a superhero type commercial.
Oh my God, I'm blanking. I mean, I recently did a Mike's Hard Lemonade superhero spot for Mike's Hard Lemonade, where I was playing like the stretchy Mr. Terrific, Dr. Terrific.
Well, this was Riley Nottingham, who actually asked me to ask you that question.
Oh, it was Riley?
It was Riley. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's what I was thinking of. That's fucking.
Yeah. When you mentioned what it was, then I told you it was Riley.
Oh, okay.
But
well, that's funny. Well, hello, Riley. Very funny. I just worked with him. He just played my son in something. Actually, that's really funny.
I know, which is why he mentioned.
Okay. But what do you mean a hotel room? What happened in a hotel room?
That's what he was telling me to ask you and see what you would come up with. So I don't know.
He wanted to like elaborate and make like conjure up like ad lib off of that and like create an idea.
More behind whatever it was behind the scenes or something. You didn't want to give it. He wanted you to give it. So.
Oh, okay. I don't remember a hotel room. We were shooting at a warehouse, sort of like studio lot, but that wasn't a hotel room. But if he was trying to be elaborate on that, that's pretty funny. But yes, Riley is amazing.
Yeah, I know. I
that's
absolutely
really funny.
agree.
Yeah, I just worked with him. We just finished something together like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Well, I consider Riley and Declan kind of my adopted kids. So
he's actually one of the sweetest people actually I've ever met. I'm not just saying that, because I actually don't get compliments too often, but he's actually a really sweet kid.
Yeah, they both are. And speaking of different things that you've done, I'm going to switch real quickly to one of my favorite comedies, and you are amazing at comedies.
Thank you.
You've done several of them, but my absolute favorite, I've probably watched this 5 times since it came out, and it is Divorce Bait. And you did this with Justin Barty, which is hysterically funny. And between you and acting opposite of Vannessa, as her ex-boyfriend, the pencil scene got me so badly. I was just laughing with that.
Go ahead, keep going.
No, go ahead. I was going to ask you what
Well, I mean,
exactly
because
the
when you say
scene do you
pencil
remember?
scene, because there's a lot to be said about that. Because
Yeah.
initially, that was not in the script, if I correctly remember. Initially, she was supposed to push the hot dog into my face and get like the mustard and ketchup and relish all over my face.
Right.
That was like the ideal scenario. Initially, that was scripted, and then they wanted to raise the ante a bit and turn it into this. I guess I'm into sort of like this eccentric sort of foreplay thing from the past, and that's what that whole thing was, or stabbing me enjoying it, and that's why she was like, "Oh my God, you're liking this." I forgot, basically.
Yeah.
So it got out of hand, but it ended up pretty freaking funny, actually.
I was watching your faces when the cameras were really panned to you guys, and it really looked like you guys were both about ready to break character. It really looked like you were about ready to die.
We did a few times. That I think actually what you're seeing is like maybe the first take. I think we started breaking character after we did the first take. Because it was so new with the situation, you don't know how you're going to handle something when you first do it. So we actually just went for it. And then when you really think about what you're doing, it seems absolutely absurd. So then I think we were breaking. I think it's a mixture of a couple takes, but I think the initial, what you're seeing when the stab and stuff, I think that was the first take. I could be wrong. I'm sure Christina and Patrick were watching this, like, no, that's not true. But I think, it was a really funny scene. The whole script, the whole movie actually was out of its mind. We loved it. We had a great time filming it.
Yeah. Oh, and you could definitely see it coming through. And I've told Justice that because we've had him on the show before.
Yeah.
And it's been watching that whole, back and forth between all of you. Everything was not only written beautifully, it was played beautifully, and it is an awesome comedy. But you've also done another comedy, which I really love, because this particular comedy, Break Even, reminds me of several different things, including one of my favorite comedic movies, which is Fool's Gold. But you kind of combine that with the action of, I'm going to say, a Mission Impossible or a Fast and Furious kind of combined in that.
Yeah.
And it was extremely wonderfully done. What was your favorite moment on set, do you think?
Well, in Break Even, I think a lot of times, I'm glad that you saw the humor in Break Even. I think a lot of people that saw Break Even weren't sure the genre of what it was supposed to be. When you're saying Fool's Gold, that's actually, you're on point with the tempo of how we were what we were going for, and the Fast and Furious aspect of it. The chasing scenes and hopping on speedboats and cars, and that was a whole perspective. It's really tough to say what was my favorite moment. I'll tell you what my least favorite moment was, though. Is when I had to put all the water tank on everything and go diving into the water. So So just so you know, just true story. So Shane Stanley, who directed it, and hello Shane, it's been a minute. He actually body doubled me. So he's the one who went in the water with Brent. But because initially, I guess I was so terrified. I had never done that before. I mean, I've been in an ocean a billion times. That's not the problem. Is putting all that heavy gear on and then go in the water. You feel like you're terrified if you've never done it. So when they said action, we both kind of go into the water off this end of the boat. They said they'd never seen someone hit water and come up faster in their life. Like, I never even went in. I was so scared I was going to drown. So that was kind of terrifying for me, because when you're not used to something like that, it'll freak you out. So Shane body doubled for me when they went down. I can't remember exactly all the footage they kept, but when they went down, but me in the water when we're throwing the money and stuff, that's obviously me. Yeah. But it was when we were first initially going in. That was my least favorite moment of it. I don't know. There was a lot of fun moments. I mean, I had it, when I jumped from the back of the boat into the truck. That was risky, but I'm going to do it. So I wanted kind of my little Tom Cruise moment, very minimal Tom Cruise moment. That was kind of, because it's you miss by a foot, you're falling. Yeah. So it looks kind of easier than it was, because that was a 10-foot jump. So there was just many moments. I mean, filming on the water, on the sailboat, when we were on the sailboat initially, we all had a blast having just a great time filming together. I'd never done a movie on the water like that before. We shot in Catalina. So it was just gorgeous on top. But the water was freezing. Beautiful. So I'm glad you enjoyed it. I got to do a lot of cool things in that movie that I hadn't been able to do in other films.
That's amazing. One quick question. I'm going to go to Marcia. Will there be a sequel?
I don't know. I mean, it's been 5 years now. I don't know.
Oh, it was 30 some years between, Top Gun and Top Gun Maverick. So you never know.
It's not impossible. I guess if all the stars align and there's a script written for it, if there was one, I don't know. We wanted to, but you know how these things go. You never know.
Oh, yeah.
You get a call and say, hey, let's go for it. But because it was written that way.
Yeah. All righty, Marcia, you're up.
Yeah. Well, speaking of going a little way back, I do like my Wayback Machine. So I'm putting the coin in your
oh, gosh. How far back are we going?
But, and also a cool factor, we talk about sequels. You were in a commercial that has a cool factor for Star Wars, The Force Awakens. And are you a Star Wars fan by any chance?
I'm not like the biggest Star Wars fan. I obviously have seen them. I'd have to go back and rewatch to really identify like all the understandings of Star Wars. I'm not the biggest fan. I didn't have posters up in the room and stuff like that. I definitely respect the franchise. I think it's obviously basically one of the most successful franchises in the history of cinema. But being part of anything like that is, a phenomenal thing to experience and partake in. So, I respect it. I definitely enjoy it. I've seen them. I'm just not the biggest fan of Star Wars. No.
Well, and the commercial itself was cool because it kind of took you through periods of your life, and that was kind of fun to see. And some other commercials, I think you mentioned it before when you were talking about, and I finally figured out it was Declan that you were, they were talking about that incident. You were in a Palm commercial for Palm, and that was kind of a superhero. You were this kind of a Greek warrior type.
He was a Persian.
Persian warrior,
His name was Zafendir. When you're saying this, it's coming back to me because it's hard to remember certain things. But he's a Persian warrior. That was a interesting shoot because nobody knows this, but I was like really sick.
Oh my goodness.
I came off of a cruise. I was in Mexico on a cruise, and I got the call to my room on the cruise ship in the middle of the water. That I got this commercial. Somehow they got a hold of me. My manager called me and said, "Hey, you got this. You got it back." And they were able to rework the schedule for the day that we're docking. So I literally had to go. But I had Montezuma's revenge. So I got super sick the last day on the ship. I guess from drinking the water or whatever it may be, and it dehydrated me a lot. So it made me at least it knocked off some of the Mexican food I ate. But I was sick, so I was really sick shooting that. We shot it in the borderline of Nevada and California, in the dunes out there, and I was letting it all out in between takes. It was 107 degrees outside. I remember. So you never even know, but I was dying.
That was kind of a fun set of commercials. They did different scenarios and things like that. Now that I know that you were sick, I have to give you props for that because you look strong.
If I was that sick now, I don't think I can make it. But back then I was a little younger, so I think I was and my manager was with me, and he was like, "You're gonna get through this. I don't care what's wrong with you." I remember so. But we did it, and it came out. It was fun though. It ended up really cool. And it's Malcolm McDowell is the voice. Malcolm McDowell from Halloween. He's the actual voiceover in the commercial. Yeah.
Yeah. And also you were in some music videos. Now,
oh boy.
To get involved with music videos, did you go after them or did they kind of go after you?
Well, initially I had really never, because I lived in New York first, and I remember I used to go to MTV. I was invited up there a few times. One of the times I was up there, they were doing TRL, Total Request Live. And I remember this was when I first started modeling, and I always thought like, oh man, it'd be super cool to be like the guy in the video. You know what I mean? Like, you know, what's that like? You see that, you know, when you're growing up, especially MTV, you always see like the guy or the girl love interest, and it's like, you know, you have this idea in your head. So then, yeah, I always thought about it, and I had met like Carson Daly back then a few times, and Nanda Lewis, the late Nanda Lewis, God bless her. I had met them a few times, but never was approached with music videos at all. It wasn't until I got to Los Angeles, and I guess my agent had sent me in for a Dido music video, Sand in My Shoes. That was the first one I ever did. And I guess I just booked it. I booked it. And then it became like a domino effect. I booked that. And then initially I actually was considered for my Prerogative video for Britney Spears. But at that time I had a shaved head. If you remember, my hair was really short and I looked a lot. I got compared to Kevin Federline a lot. So from what I was told, because it was the same casting person, ended up booking me for Lindsay Lohan, and it was a week later. But from what I was told, that Kevin was not interested in having me part of the video, from what I understand, because he looks so much alike. So he ended up playing the part in it. He was in the part that I was supposed to play. He ended up doing it. And then a week later, I got a call from the same casting company, and they had me go and put something on tape personally for Lindsay. Actually, I had to go and record a video with the casting person telling Lindsay why she needed to have me in her video.
Well, that's cool.
I remember that. Yeah, no, that's what happened. And I was, I don't remember exactly what I said. I just remember, obviously I said something that got me the part. And then, then Lindsay, the rest of them, Catherine McPhee and Jennifer Lopez, it all happened in the same week, actually, within days apart.
Wow.
And also, yeah, it just became like this music video thing early on. And then I got to see it in New York and then on the big screen when I was there for Lindsay Lohan. So that was pretty cool. It was one of those moments where, you know, I was like, oh man, I remember thinking a couple years ago how cool that would be to see that. And then it became that. So
yeah, it became that.
That was an experience, I'll tell you that.
And I'm a New Yorker, born and raised. So
okay.
I have to talk to you a little bit about your time in New York. What do you remember about your time in New York? What is some cool memory about the food or the places that you went?
I mean, I did a lot. I did a lot in a very short period of time. The initial first living in New York, because when I moved to New York was in 2000. I lived in Jersey City, so I lived off Grove Street. So I'd have to take that PATH train. Actually, from the World Trade Center, but we'll get into that in a minute because I was there for that whole thing. That was pretty crazy. But I mean, I remember everything there. I mean, I spent so much time wandering around that city. Like even Times Square for me is very different now. When I took my wife there a few years ago for the first time, they didn't have those bleachers there. They weren't there when I was there. And Times Square is completely different. I used to go to a place called in Times Square because you got to remember I wasn't legal when I lived in New York. I was only 20 years old. Now I was legal. I still got in. Yeah, so I had my friend's fake ID from like he's 5 years older. I was like this Greek guy I know from back home. Oh yeah, yep, I did. I sure did. And there was a place called Barcode. I don't know if you remember Barcode. It was in Times Square. You played video games. It was like a bar club. Yeah, and I remember Limelight. Limelight was a church. And I think Madonna used to own it back in the day, way back in the day. I mean, there's so many. I mean, I used to go to Hogs and Heifers, which they no longer. I remember one time I went to Hogs and Heifers, and the seated next to me, they kept throwing. I kept looking at the guy, and I was like, "Why does he look so familiar?" And people were freaking out over. And I'm talking to him the whole time, and I'm thinking to myself, "God, he seems so familiar." Well, I come to find out a few minutes later that it's Bon Jovi.
Oh crap!
No, I'm not kidding. And I spent the entire evening with Bon Jovi, me and my buddy, and he had all these her bras around his neck. Yeah. So yeah, no, it was pretty wild. So I remember those moments. I mean, we did a lot of, you know, and just the food. I mean, I probably ate a hot dog a day on the street.
So good for us.
The pizza. I mean, yeah, that was a long time ago. But it's a very different
you remember
now. Yeah, I remember. No, I remember certain things for sure. And then September 11th is what caused me to move to Los Angeles. But that was a whole you know, we'll keep the thought that that was a time we all got, you know, we got through it. It's a memory. It's crazy.
Well, since you're a basketball guy, did you ever get to Madison Square Garden?
I did. Yeah, I saw a few Knicks games. I did. That at that time, I think actually I didn't, because I was a huge Michael Jordan fan, obviously. So I actually saw when he plays for the Wizards, because I would go back home. But back then, I got to see Michael Jordan play more for the Wizards, but I only got to see him play once for the Chicago Bulls when I was like 91, 92 when I was a kid. And actually the Bullets, they were called the Bullets back then. They beat Chicago. I'll never forget it. They beat Chicago and Jordan only had 29 points. I remember saying to my dad, what happened to Jordan? I can't believe you only scored 29 points. Like, that's not a bad game. And I remember I was freaking out. But I got to see the Knicks play the Wizards at NCIS Center back in the early 2000s when he came back. But I never got to see. No, I didn't see. I think him play a few times. I think I'm Charlotte once at the Madison Square Garden. I went to concerts there, but I didn't get a chance to watch too many basketball games, which I wish I would have.
Well, cool. Thank you for sharing some of your New York memories.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to Michael.
Those are good questions.
Yeah, we've got some comments in the chat room. We've got 2 people that are giving you 3 hearts. So I'm going to throw those up. This one is, whoops. See, something's going weird with this.
Yeah,
show.
something serious.
This is from Sarah Ruiz. She gave you 3 hearts.
Well, thank you. 3 hearts back to you.
And then, I'm not.
It's every time we're clicking the buttons, any buttons, it's doing that.
Well, then I am not going to throw any more buttons unless I have to. I don't want to be up there. Okay, and then is Lady Chrissy also?
Hi, Chrissy. I know Chrissy. Hi,
Chrissy. You know Chrissy? Okay.
Yeah, she's
and then and if it switches again, I'm going to be very mad because I was going to throw this up earlier. This is from NB. It says, "Yep, you're right, Liz. That is what it's doing."
Marylander too, so no wonder
I'm a Marylander too, so no wonder he's good people.
I tried to hold on to the East Coast as much as I possibly could. Hopefully I still sound like I'm a little East Coast.
You do.
Let's the Italian too. Let's the Italian.
Exactly. So I think it's gonna switch again, but I have to do it. Yeah, I'm gonna have to complain. Because I don't like me switching back up all the time. But anyway, I did not do that.
I did because I was unmuting myself because I had to cough and I thought I would get it quick enough.
Oh, well, every button.
We're playing musical chairs today.
We don't press buttons. You know what I'm going to do? I am going to switch everything around. I don't like doing this because I like to emphasize the guest. But at least if it switches around, it's not going to be too bad. So, okay. Yeah. So then we'll just be moving around in a circle or whatever. But
we'll play musical boxes. It's okay.
Well, yeah, and it's no fun doing that. But it's like what do you do?
It's all good.
And then Lady Chrissy also says hi, Eric. So
hi, Chrissy. She runs the Instagram Forever Fellows. She started that up and has done an amazing job with that. So I want to give her a big shout out and big hugs and tell her thank you. She's done a phenomenal job with it.
That is great.
Yeah, she's so much support. So thank you, Chrissy.
Yeah, let me go back to Liz again.
Okay, just briefly, we already know you're a Michael Jordan fan, but I heard a rumor that you actually ignored a phone call from him.
Yeah, I didn't know it was a phone call from him. Obviously, if it would have said like Michael Jordan's calling you, I would have picked up the phone. No, again, this is so many years ago. From what I remember, what happened was it was a particular person in my life I wasn't speaking to at that time, and they were in Vegas, and they I guess that they were at a Tiger Woods event, and they kept calling my phone, and I was ignoring the call. Is what happened, and I guess this particular person went up to Michael Jordan and said, so and so has this Michael Jordan tattoo. Could you please just call and say hello to him? And I look back on it now going, shit. Like that was that when I found that out, and there was a message that was left more or less like, I heard you have my tattoo on your arm and this whole thing. And I, don't hold on to this message. I mean, this is, 2002. You know, this was a long
Yeah.
time ago. So you can only hold on messages for so long. And I tried to, but that was heartbreaking. Yeah, I've never met him. Seen him in person, like playing, but never. Yeah, so that would it would be crazy actually to meet him still, even to this day. Even though I don't really play basketball anymore. I mean, I would love to start playing again, but I stopped when I started to slow down. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah. But no,
So,
I
but
just
it was
thought that,
heartbreaking.
yeah. No, I can imagine how your stomach must have dropped when you realized who it
Yeah,
was
I
from.
mean, especially at that time in my life, I was
Oh,
still,
yeah.
like, I was 21, 22 years old, so that sucked. That's why you gotta let bygones be bygones and not stay so upset at people. But it is what it is. I mean, hey, the attempt was made, and I got to hear it, so that was pretty cool.
You know, and speaking with the NBA, I hear you actually have a part with NBA 2K 2.0.
Yeah. No, I ended up
Wow.
booking a character in that. Character name is Jonas Beal. He was like a college recruit going into the NBA, so it's like you follow some of the characters' journeys. And then I had scenes with Scottie Pippen, which was, as close as you can get to Jordan. And actually, a good friend of mine, Sheldon Candace, which I'll give him a shout out, Sheldon, ended up directing that whole series of video games for that year. And he got me, he brought me on. He actually got me the audition, and then we worked it out. And then I ended up playing a character and had scenes with Scottie Pippen. And it's funny because Scottie and Jordan obviously have a little bit of a thing.
Really? Yeah.
And my friend was like, "Hey, Scottie, he used to have Jordan tattooed on his arm. It's no longer there because I lasered it off." And Scottie was like, kind of weird about it. And then we laughed about it and talked about it. He's like, "Oh, you had Jordan tattooed on your arm. Why?" I remember he said that to me. And I was like, because I'm like, "Don't worry, Scottie, meeting you is a huge deal." So anyway, no, it was a good time. So yeah, I had a good experience. Working on that video game. It's pretty cool to be part of that.
Did you know beforehand that this was an NBA video game, or didn't have a clue?
No, I didn't know what game it was for. I think I kind of knew. Yeah, I kind of knew. I didn't know it was for NBA 2K. I wasn't sure which NBA game it was for. I didn't know if it was for. Back then, it was still NBA Live. There was an NBA Live version. They couldn't really talk about it too much. Obviously, I signed an NDA. I'm trying to remember if I knew which game exactly it was. I didn't know, for instance, who was going to be part of it. Like, I knew Sheldon was directing it, but I didn't know, like, a couple of the other people that were in the game we were acquaintances with before and friends of his as well. So we all kind of got to work together again, that we used to play basketball with back in the day. But I didn't know it was NBA 2K and that, I would be doing scenes with Scottie Pippen. I didn't know Idris Elba would be part of it, Rosario Dawson. I didn't know any of that stuff until once it was set and stuff.
Okay. One thing I found really interesting with it was this was done almost, at the start of, different types of stuff that was motion capture. And if I remember correctly, you went up and did this at Skywalker Ranch, correct?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. No, I was up in
Petaluma, wasn't it? Wasn't it up in Petaluma?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how did that?
Yeah.
How did that feel? Doing that and seeing how the whole project would work with the screen capture.
Well, I kind of already knew how it works just because I know people that have been doing it for a little while. They've actually been doing it for a little while. So I kind of knew going in, doing it, and then going and doing all the movements for facial recognition and body movements and all that stuff. I think the craziest thing is to see it translated on screen.
Yeah.
When you're wearing that whole thing the whole time. But we went and really performed the scenes like as a group. So when you see like the scenes with Scottie Pippen, we were all sitting there. I mean, obviously it was green screened out, like he's walking into a locker room. But we were in this man-made gymnasium basketball court. And we're all kind of sitting there like we were inside of a locker room, the way it was set up, how they had it set up. And then obviously we're pegged everywhere. But we were really doing those scenes. They're not voice-overed. We were mic'd and doing the scenes, and then we were implanted into the scene.
Oh, okay.
If that makes sense. Yeah.
That makes
wasn't
perfect
like
sense.
AI. That wasn't AI. We really were shooting those scenes and performing, talking to each other. Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of what I figured, and I'm glad that you explained more for people that might not be familiar with some of the stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am actually going to swing a little bit into your connection with verticals because you have a background working on soaps. Do you think your background early on working on soaps gave you the foundation you needed now that you're doing verticals? Because so much material is thrown at you so fast.
Yes, to a certain degree. I mean, there's nothing more nerve-wracking than doing a soap opera. I just want everybody to understand this. No, I'm being serious. And like, this is true.
I know.
Every actor will tell you this. There literally is, when you're doing that many pages of dialogue and you really only have one take to do it. I mean, people really believe that we're making this up. We're not.
You're not. No.
I think in the 3 years, 2.5, 3 years that I was on and off the show, of Days of Our Lives, I think I did 2 takes twice, and I was terrified. I was shaking when you mess up.
Yeah.
Because everyone's just staring at you, because they're a machine. It's a machine working on a soap opera, daytime soap. Everyone is their job. Everyone's staring at you. You get it done. You're out of there by 2:30. Sometimes 4. And sometimes you're shooting 2 to 3 episodes a day. There's no room to mess up. So I guess in that retrospect of it, yes, of course, it gets you prepared to go and shoot these crazy shooting schedules. We just shot the one I just finished last week. We shot 28 pages in 2 days. So when you're looking at that with location changes and stuff like that, and different scenes and motivations behind the scenes, and shooting 27, 28 pages in 2 days, it's crazy. Because film, you don't get that. You might be shooting 3 independent films. You can shoot more, yes, but on like big studio films and stuff like that, they're shooting no more than 4 pages, 5 pages. So yes, I would say it does help. I think I had to get familiarized with the vertical perspective. I think to me at first it was a little shocking. I didn't know what was happening. I didn't understand what was being made. You know what I mean? Like, coming from a TV film background, I was like, what are we doing? Like, what's this? I thought it's almost like a parody on itself. Now it's become like more of like I don't know, an overblown out version of like a satire version of a telenovela meets, daytime US kind of soap, and then with all this like, werewolves and billionaires and janitors it's insane. So it took me a minute to get used to it, but then I just said, you know what, I put it and separated it for what the work is. It's different. So now you have to just go in and have fun with it and take the character and take it wherever it may take you, because you only have 7-8 days to do it, to shoot 125 pages.
This definitely moves fast. Yeah. Marcia, I'm going to give it to you.
Well, yeah, when you were talking about the vertical world and shooting so many pages so fast, but then you do a network show like Law and Order, where the budget is what, 10 times
probably
more.
Probably $2.5 million an episode. 3 million an episode.
Yeah, going from one to another so quickly, how is that adjustment? I know you're a consummate professional, but you gotta have a kind of smile when you go, okay, now I'm on Law and Order now.
Well, I was, yes. I mean, it was the dynamic of going from one to the other, because I think I had done my first vertical where I played the werewolf, the Faithful Alpha Spate, it's the name of it, and then that was coming out pretty much the same time I was being offered Law and Order. So I had done that, and I was like, okay, I saw it. I was like, let me try this out. I don't know what this is, this vertical. I got to set and kind of freaked out a bit. And then we did it, and I had fun with it. I never played a werewolf before. I've been up for werewolves and vampires many times, but I was like, you know what? I'm going to go for it. Just play the werewolf, the alpha, and the Luna, who doesn't have her wolf, which is hilarious. But
it is.
And then I got, but we were tentative to post anything, I hate to say it, initially about it, because I didn't know how Law and Order would respond to that. You know what I mean? It's two totally different worlds here.
Right.
Which now you're seeing the change of tides a bit, pretty quickly. So yeah, going on to Law and Order, yeah, I hadn't been on network in a bit, so it was very nice to come back on and then to be offered that part and to play opposite, you know, to Mariska and Benson and Stabler. Chris Maloney, and it was a very extreme experience, I will say. They both were amazing to work with. You know, coming up as an actor, the one goal is to get interrogated by both of them at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't care any other show, but I'm like, if I can get both of them, and she just happened to cross over for that episode. So it was like a miracle. So I was so nervous. I'm not going to lie. I was really nervous working with her because I wanted to make sure, I nailed it. So I was terrified at first. I had already done the first episode with Chris. I got past that. I was good. But working with her when she's that close proximity, and like it's a smaller room than people think. Like the interrogation room is tiny, and there's like 40 people in there, and you're melting. And then all of a sudden, your brain just goes starts to short circuit because you get nervous. I don't care who you are. Yeah. And so all I did was pray to God. I was like, please, Eric, please don't mess up. Like, please. And I got through it, and we did it. And it's funny because you can't tell by watching it. I actually, it came out really great. I'm really happy with it. But I was terrified at first, and I'll admit to it. But she gave me a huge hug at the end and told me, you know, that did amazing, and I give her a huge amount of respect back. And now it was very honored to work with her and Chris. But then, yeah, to go into Vertical from that, it's like it is tough. It's a tough. I don't know what to say about it. It's just a different dynamic. Yeah. I go into Verticals just having fun with him now. I got to play a really cool one recently that came out, playing the Russian general, which was a lot of fun. So I got to really let it go there. Do you know what I mean? Like I got to play with it, give him like an accent. So that's I think that's the difference for Verticals.
So did you already have the accent before the role, or did you develop?
No, they asked me. My wife is actually from Poland, so she has an Eastern European accent. Trying to get it. No, but you have it. No, you don't, but she can do it easily.
I love this dimension.
You got your sidekick there.
He was like, I'm going to teach you. I'm going to teach you. But, you know, as an American, growing up, it's hard to roll your R's. We don't speak like that.
No.
So it's very difficult from growing up as an American from the East Coast to roll your R's like that. So they didn't ask me to do it. We did like 10 Zoom calls before I went to China to go shoot this. And there's a lot of things that we had to work through first before I went over there to make this happen. And they finally asked me, can you do a Russian accent? And I'm like, you guys are just now asking me this. I mean, I understand he's a Russian general. So I kind of created the accent, whatever that accent is, more like a European sort of like ish Russian, because they changed the character when you first watch it. It says that when I said to her, you're American, and then she says you kind of sounded too, which I don't really sound American there, but you can tell I'm not full something. And she says, oh, I used to study in the States when you were in diapers. That was the line. They created that line for the audience to understand why I wouldn't have such a severe Russian accent. That I spent a lot of time in the States going back and forth prior to being back in Russia. So that accent was created on day one. It was created on the first time. They were like, well, what accent can we best with? So the first lines that ever came out of my mouth was the first time that accent was even created.
Wow.
I didn't create any accent before. I spoke like this the whole time until I started messing with it when we did table read hours before we started shooting.
Wow.
So that's,
There you go.
I winged it.
Right. And I know we're coming close to the end, but I did want to ask you, there are a lot of reality shows out there. And I've been watching Netflix's Squid Game, The Challenge. That's interesting. But I also watch cooking shows. I watch, all kinds of. Yeah. If you had to be on a reality show of any kind, pottery show, cooking show, sports show.
I'm trying to avoid these for my whole entire career.
Now you have to do it.
A
I'm
game
gonna tell you,
show.
I got 2 left feet, so Dancing with the Stars would be 90 Day Fiance. Yeah, we can relive me and my wife's journey. Well, that was actually, crazy enough, that was actually in talks. We were in talks to create a reality show on us for our whole journey. Our journey is absolutely insane. Like, the story itself is a movie beyond a movie. It's a vertical times 20.
Oh, wonderful.
Oh yeah. So that was the only time I thought about it. I don't know that would, if it was anything kind of following like sort of our lives or something, I get very scared about that, man. Too many people dip into your life and it's already stressful enough. Let there be some mystery.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe a competition show. I would do a competition show, competing with something for sure.
Physical or mental?
Both. I mean, I think I gotta get myself back in shape. Mental, what are you laughing at me for? She's laughing. I can't.
She's having a good time over there, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Because she watches me from the same point.
Your lovely wife, yes.
Yeah. You want to come say hi? Okay,
Yeah, come on stage.
Yeah.
There's your area. Nah, she's great.
Well, if she doesn't, then I'll invite you both on our next podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
Mhm.
Love that.
Yeah. She's funny. I mean, she's blushing.
Maybe.
I think her mom's watching this too. Hi, Kasha.
Hi,
I
Mom.
think a few people. I don't know. I think there's Kasha. Maybe Jim is watching it. Not my dad. My friend Jim. I should have told my dad because he's right down the street from you. Oh yeah. By the way, tell me where you said you're 2 miles from Silver Spring.
About 2 to 3. Depends what part of Silver Spring.
You don't want to know what people want to know where,
No.
where you live in.
No, I'll
Where?
say it's near the district line, and from the city that I told you before.
Well, I mean, it's all relative.
It's all, and
all
there's a
relative.
subway stop a mile up from me, so
Okay.
so that would tell you about where I am.
I
It's
know
so
the general-
funny.
Yes, of course.
Michael's
Well-
speaking in code for.
I know where he told me where his dad was before we went on air, so I know where he is. So
Yeah.
So
Yeah, so you have the general idea, like how.
I have the
yeah.
general idea. Yes,
Well, that's pretty cool to know that.
it is. It's kind of cool. We've had a couple of people that have been from Maryland in the last month or two. It's been interesting. Yeah.
There's
Another
there's
vertical
definitely a lot of
actor
us,
is
I
near
guess.
Baltimore, and that freaked me out. I went, wait a minute, I know that city.
Yeah. No, of course, especially when you're living there and you're from there.
Yeah.
But hopefully I can get back soon. I'd like to get back soon. So.
Yeah, I bet it's not easy with your schedule recently.
Well, that too, and just we have the 2 puppies too, so we have to get arranged to we gotta get them like little passports so they can fly.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of stuff. And yeah, in my schedule, I was supposed to go home and then I ended up getting a show, so then I had to cancel the trip. And I haven't seen my parents in a few years, so I do have to get home. I'm hopefully to do it in the early the new year.
That'd be nice. Well, if you do, look me up. So
I will. No,
Yeah.
I will. You guys were awesome. I really appreciate you guys have some really, really good questions and brought back some history. And I really appreciate that. That makes me smile. So
yeah,
thank you.
and I was going to ask you one last question.
Yeah.
You kind of answered it,
Okay.
but and I was going, oh, there goes my question that I like to ask everybody.
Well, ask it differently. And
I'm thinking of how else to say. Okay, after you did your verticals,
yeah,
and you were trying to keep it secret. I understood for a little while from certain people, which I understand.
Yeah.
You didn't tell anybody. When you had to tell somebody what you had done, and you said you did a vertical or whatever, and they gave you that funny look, like I don't know what he's talking about. How did you explain it to them?
Well, it was the kind of the same way of telling myself that I was doing a vertical.
That's what I mean. That's why you kind of said it. So that's why.
Now I'll give you a good example. So I guess it was like 2 of them ago. One of the ones that are coming out soon, one will be closer to Christmas. The one I did for Drama Wave.
Mm-hmm.
One of the guys met a new actor friend who's been in and out of the business for a while. He is a little bit older than me, but came back into the business. And I was trying to explain to him the perspective of verticals at this point. Like someone was trying to explain to me initially, and then I had to really explain to myself. So I found myself re-explaining to another person what I've had to explain to myself to move forward with it.
Mm-hmm.
To the day and age changed a bit. Like where we thought it was going to be hurtful for, you know, a TV film actor's career. I guess it's the same way of explaining to where, you know, they used to compare daytime soaps to primetime TV,
Yes.
TV stars to film stars, models to actors, influencers to models to actors to musicians. Everyone's doing all one thing now.
Yeah.
Everyone can do whatever they want. So I don't know how much it really would hurt someone's career, because it's like explaining that dynamic. And when you got studios buying into the concept, what is that really telling you? What is a studio going to say to an actor who's a lead of a vertical doing, you know, but they're also raising the antes on these verticals. There are some cool storylines that are coming through. Again, like the one I did in Russia, the one I did in China was like, it was a good story. You know what I mean? Like it was a good story. So whether what you take from that's different, we did everything we could to make it the best we could with what they did. And I was surprised with some of the visuals. They made it look really cool. But I try to explain to them, it's okay. It's, you know, but, you know, I want to do real work is what I was told. And you know, to hear that as an actor, who I would like to believe that I've worked my butt off to try to be as real as an actor as I can, and to doing real TV and film for many years, to hear that's tough, because I was telling myself it feels like you're kind of going backwards a bit. I don't know. You have to almost separate it. You have to separate and put it into a different box and understand what that is. And it's taking its own path. That's what kind of a way to explain it. I said, you can't look down on it, because, you know, when you only have so much being offered out there for actors, you know, you have to live. You have to live. You have to live. And I have a family to take care of, just like he would have a family to take care of, like everybody has a family to take care of. So if I keep the same perspective I was having about it, because I didn't do one for a year or almost a year after I did my first one, because I was like, okay, I'm not, you know, I don't want to get too carried away with this and it become this thing. And then that's, you know, people are like, oh, the last 10 credits are verticals. Luckily, I have movies in between it and TV series in between it, but like it could freak you out. Like you're like, oh God, this is what's happening. Some people only have verticals. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I have 20 years of like, you know, past work. Then you got verticals, so it's almost like how do you explain that? And I think that's the biggest, you know, where you get a little dumbfounded as the actor right now in today's world. You're not sure what to tell another actor besides like we got to survive here. So yeah. But the studios are buying into it, so you really can't say too much if you've got studios. Oh, they've been looking. They've been looking. I don't think they expected it to do what it did, and no, of course not. They want in. The numbers are insane. The numbers are insane. I've never seen numbers like this before. I've never seen it. So that's what I would say. That's what you would say. Yeah. Now, Liz, did you have anything in closing that you wanted to
just real briefly. You had mentioned, you know, you do have other movies in between all these verticals, and one that you've got coming out with Justin and Eric Roberts as well is Water's Edge. I just completely blanked, and I've been waiting to see this for the longest time, since we had interviewed Justin before, and I already knew about the movie before we did him. Yeah. So that is definitely one that I'm looking forward to seeing. The premise sounds absolutely amazing. It's a really, we just went to the premiere a little bit ago in Ohio. Right. We were really, really pleasantly happy with the turnout. Really great performances from everyone. Like I think you'll really enjoy it. Oh, I think I am too. It's edgy. It's edgy. It's emotional. Yeah. It's kind of an emotional roller coaster. I'm really proud of everyone that was part of it. And, you know, I was really happy to work with Justin on it. You know, I brought Justin on board and Lana loved him, the director. So, and I got to work with some great actors, Michael Perry, who I've worked with a handful of times now. So it's a good cast. I think you'll enjoy it. Yeah. Oh, no, most definitely. And the final question I actually wanted to ask you was also another movie that you've done, but I'm going to slightly edit the name of it, Starf. Okay. Yeah. Was Jimmy Starr, any of that you wrote with this, anything that you were seeing within Hollywood, either associates that you had, friends that you had seen, or something within yourself?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I mean, almost all of it.
Okay.
There's really no part of that movie. We made it as authentic as possible. We raised the you know, the sky was the limit with that one, with the satire of it. But is that like how I've seen Hollywood and what I've seen? Now, some of the stuff that happened to me has not happened to me. Let's just keep that. There's a few things that happened to me. Like, that hasn't happened to me. But have I been around that stuff? Have I seen that? And is that as authentic to Hollywood as I can tell you? 100%. There's nothing that happened there that does not happen in Hollywood, and even more severely.
And on that, I would agree.
We just made a comedy on it. So it was a wild one. It was a wild one, but you know, we pushed it out there. It took a long time to make it because of Me Too and all that kind of stuff. But we took a risk with it, and it could have had a bigger platform that it did, and it was looked at by many bigger places. But coming to a deal with that, and you know, this market was tough. So but I'm proud of it. I think everybody again did a really great job in that film. It's a wild ride.
It is, but it is perfect with my own family history within Hollywood itself. Yeah. So many spots you hit on was perfect.
Pretty Hollywood. It's Hollywood.
Yeah. And on that note, I wanted to say thank you so much for spending time and coming on with us. And hopefully we can pull your wife on screen next time with you. So
she's waving.
I really appreciate.
She's waving.
She's waving. Okay.
What does that mean? She's getting out of here fast? Is that what?
If I hadn't heard her voice, if I hadn't heard her voice, I would have said she was ghost just off screen. If I hadn't heard her voice.
Oh. Yeah. Well, say hello. One more time. Go.
Hello. Do I have an accent? I know I don't.
Well, on that note, because we promised you that we'd get you out of here, but I have to throw up one comment from someone I think you know.
Okay.
Someone named Adeline.
Oh, it's my mother.
Yes. Hi, son. You're doing a great job.
Oh, thanks, Mom. It's all because of you. I love
there you go.
No, my mom, I can't believe she hopped on and she figured it out. She's not living too far from you either, buddy.
No, I know. You said that. Yeah.
She's closer to Baltimore, though. Hi, Mama.
There you go.
Well, listen, honestly, God bless you guys, and Merry Christmas. And
Thank you. Merry Christmas to you. Thank you.
And you have a great holiday, and you just have a great time at your next project.
I appreciate that. And thank you guys for honestly the support and watching this stuff. It made me feel good. You enjoyed it, so thank you.
Yeah, take it easy, everyone. We will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.